This is the sign for Korka Comics.
I think you're gonna edit it.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit it.
Gotcha.
So, handmade.
That's awesome. It's got some good heft to it, man. It's heavy. The letters look amazing. Awesome, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have the best pop selection ever. That's what I'm gonna say about Korka Comics. And we're cool. We're cool. And we're nice to people. That's it.
At Susie Fed on Instagram.
Shut your mouth. Are you like a Steve?
No.
Thank you, guys.
If I was like a Steve, I'd be saying something else.
In the 1980s, I was a young kid. I grew up in Sweetwater on the western edge of Dade County here in Miami. After us here in Sweetwater, heading west, was the Everglades. And in those days, life was a bit more calm. At least it seemed that way. There were fewer people, and that's for sure, right? And, you know, the people were different. You know, that's true, too. Just, you know, time. And I was, for the most part, left to my own devices. Me and my friends would roam freely all throughout Sweetwater. It was a lot of fun. We had a game that was a notch above hide-and-go-seek. We called it Ninja Hunt. Back in the 80s, ninjas were like a thing. Lots of movies, people had martial arts posters on their walls. You know, that and posters of babes in bikinis. And rock band posters, too. We used to check out the bedrooms of the older kids, the brothers of my friends, and their walls and ceilings were full of rock posters. Ozzy, AC/DC, Rat, Judas Priest, Van Halen, many more. There was definitely an awesome vibe going on in those days. You have to remember that there was no internet back then, so our entertainment was playing outside and listening to music that was handed down to us also. And, you know, that pretty much meant heavy metal at the time. So it was in those days, riding bike, that I ended up at a 7-Eleven. It was the only one in town. It was on Flagler Street. I walked in and eyed the comic book rack. I saw a lot of, you know, titles on the rack, and I remember it still after so many years. That day, I may have had some change to spare. I should have, because I remember picking up a Flash comic book, took that home with me, and that's the earliest memory I have of coming in contact with comics. It was a whole brand new world for me. In the mid-'80s and on, I found Sunshine Comics on Bird Road in front of Tropical Park. I got into comics big time. I would walk into the store and walk down the aisle grabbing all the titles. I mean, it was awesome. So further on in the 90s, I think, 1990, the prices of comics changed. They went up, and I started dropping titles. I guess I was getting heavier into girls, which you have to admit has a rather stronger draw, at least for me, right? So I did move out west many, many years later. I ended up packing up my comic books and putting them in the shed. Now, mind you, they were enclosed with bags and boards, then boxed, then wrapped again, and I mean, they were protected. For the most part, within reason. But during my stint out west, back here in Sweetwater, we had a big flood, and it ruined all my comic books, along with the house. I mean, water came in everywhere. I was away, so when I did come back, it was very sad. I managed to rescue a few titles, but all the really good ones were just completely ruined, water damaged. This sign is going to Korka Comics. I was happy to see a new comic shop open up right across the street off the Tamiami Trail, and it brought back a lot of great memories. I visit them often, and I'm glad to see folks are still even playing D&D. I mean, which is amazing. This is what we did back then. I hope you liked this episode. Subscribe. We have more stories and builds coming. Catch you guys next time.
And it's unfair. Every year, thousands of American jobs are shipped to places like China. Billions of dollars that could have built new factories and created jobs in America are siphoned off overseas. And every day, working